What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today we're talking about the DC Defenders. Another victory, 5-0 on the season against a hard team in the St. Louis Battlehawks. It is so crazy how this team is performing. If you guys are not looking at the XFL, you guys are missing some incredible football. Again, DC, they jumped up on the Battlehawks very early on in the game. Ended up, the score got to the point of where it was like 28-12. And then a big play happens, and the Battlehawks get themselves back into the game with 4-something minutes to go, 20-28. And I tell you, it was a nail biter towards the end. Man, the DC Defenders go into St. Louis and rip their souls out of their bodies and wins the game 28-20. The game was sealed by our defensive king, Mike Joe. Mike Joe did his thing. He now leads the XFL, was already leading the XFL, but now leads the XFL with 4 picks in the season. Again, he is our defensive closer. He sealed the game for us. Not only that, Abram Smith goes for 24 attempts. He has 24 carries, 218 yards. At one point in the game, he was averaging close to 12 yards a carry. The guy was just absolutely phenomenal and finishes with 3 touchdowns. And not only that, had 2 long runs. His first run was a 62-yarder, which was an XFL record. Then he follows it up and breaks his own record in the same game by taking another one to the house for 70 yards. I tell y'all, this is some incredible football. Hands up to the Battlehawks. They gave them a game towards the end. Like I said, if you're not watching the XFL, you're missing out, because it was impactful all the way down to the end, because it was one of those games where it gave you that heart attack type of feel. It's like a big play changes the whole game, and there were a couple big plays. Our special teams need to shape up a little bit on with the defenders, because they gave up 2 long returns, man. 2 very long returns. One, I think the guy, he almost returned it to like the 40, and then he ran another one and returned it I think he returned it all the way to the 10. So, again, the special teams need to pick it up. But I tell you, man, this is some really exciting football. And like I said, they have the turnover chain, which is like incredible, because it has the DC Defenders logo with the 202 across it. And of course, when you talk about your man John from DC, that 202, for me, it reigns something supreme. So again, great game. Very greatly coached by both teams. Reggie Barlow calls a timeout at a point where it's one of those things where it's like, whoa, that's different. That's different from a coach of a DC team. He calls a timeout because he didn't want the play to be so rushed. And that was the smartest thing to do. He got his team to settle down, got his team to relax, and then De'Aaron King runs in and gets another touchdown. Again, I think he now leads the XFL with five rushing touchdowns at quarterback. And like I said again, Abram Smith has done his thing. Lucky Jackson is doing his thing. Chris Blair only had one catch. But I think he only had one catch. I don't quote me on that, but I think he only had one catch. Again, he's basically the Terry McLaurin of the defenders, but he only got one catch in the game. They need to. I know that they don't throw the ball that often, but it would be nice to see him get more attempts at the ball. But again, very, very exhilarating game. One of the funnest games I've seen, one of the most hard-fought games by both teams. Both teams were stopping each other as much as they could. And I know y'all are going to be like, wait a minute, John, the running back ran for 218 yards, but a lot of that was those two plays. Like I said, he had a 62-yard run for a touchdown. That was the XFL record. Followed that up by beating his own record in the same game, ran for 70 yards and a touchdown. So again, like I said, this was a very, very good game. Like I said, for y'all who are not watching the XFL, get on the bandwagon now, because if you don't, you're going to be missing good football. We're also seeing guys that could be in the NFL. Mike Joseph, I mean, that's our top cornerback. He looks like he can play, and not only that, it's so crazy because he would actually, he we don't see him in man that often, but when he does play man, he has this thing where he kind of baits the quarterbacks into throwing, thinking that people are open when they're actually not. So I think he will be playing on Sundays eventually, because not only that, he will be coming in at a time where where it will be time for NFL players to report. So Mike Joe, we might be seeing him playing on Sundays. Another one is Andre Mintz. He's another one, kind of small defensive end, but he makes plays. He does make plays. And like I said, it's very impressive, y'all. I mean, this was a very good game. We have another big game coming up. This time, it will be the Defenders taking on the Houston Roughnecks in what could be the preview of the XFL championship game. And like I said, y'all, this has been some exhilarating football. And like I said, our Defenders are now 5-0 on the season, and they look like they refuse to be stopped. What a hell of a coaching staff that Reggie Barlow has built up. I mean, Greg Williams alone is good enough. But now when you add Fred Kais, I think that's how you say his name. But he does a fantastic job with calling plays. Not only that, he does a fantastic job with getting certain quarterbacks in and out at when they need to be. So again, fantastic coaching, fantastic game. Before I go out, notable NFL players. A.J. McCarron, former Cincinnati Bengal, at quarterback for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Brian Hill, former Cincinnati running back for the Battlehawks. Daniel Whalen, former New Orleans punter for the Defenders. Offensive head coach of the Battlehawks, Anthony Beck. If I can remember, I think he was tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Jets, if I can remember. Defensive coordinator, Donnie Abraham, former New York Jet and I think Atlanta Falcon. And last but not least was Brad Gradkowski, offensive coordinator for the St. Louis Battlehawks, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback. I think he was Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback. But I'm telling y'all, this is what it is. For y'all Defender fans, tell me how you feel. How excited and pumped are you with the fact that the Defenders are 5-0? They're marching. They got a huge game, which could be the preview of the XFL championship game. You got the top team in the North versus the top team in the South. The top team in the South are coming off their first loss. So they're 4-1 while Washington is 5-0. They can't sleep on this team. Y'all, again, y'all tell me what y'all think. Are y'all excited that the Defenders are marching on in what seems to be, what could possibly be the inaugural championship of the XFL, won by your DC Defenders, possibly, hopefully? But y'all tell me what y'all think. How excited are y'all for the Defenders? How excited are y'all for the XFL? What excites you? What gives you energy when it comes to the XFL? Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.